Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another edition of First 40 Turns. We are back at it, and this time we're at it with Japan. And Japan is on island plates this time, trying to bring a lot of different flavor for you guys, so we're not always on continents or always on Pangea. And I figured Japan's a pretty good candidate for founding itself on islands, because their military strengths are based around being in coastal lands, and on island plates you tend to have to cram your cities together a little bit more in order to fit them in, and Japan's a great candidate for having close-knit cities in order to work that adjacency bonus thing. So it was a good candidate to go island plates, and that's what we're gonna do. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we're live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Normulator. Come on by and say hello if you haven't already. Love to say hello. So let's talk about our start here. It took us a couple tries to find one we like, but this one we do like. We have our 2-2 city center, which is going to be great. We have a beautiful, beautiful cocoa tile. It's going to give us all kinds of gold. And, of course, turtles. Somebody in chat mentioned turtle candies. The chocolate-covered turtle candies sitting right there for us. Anyway, thought I'd bring that up. So we've got a good tile there. We've also got a pasture to do, a kori, and a rice. That's going to give us a bunch of eurekas early on, which we like to see. We have some solid tiles along here we can grab, as well as the turtles. You don't tend to, sometimes you don't see a lot of mountains on your islands, so at least we're seeing at least one island right out of the gate. That'll help us with possibly some adjacencies we could get going in here as we move along. We've got a nice river that should allow us to get a second city down here, and then have just an amazing adjacency stuff. I don't go into a lot of the details necessarily, breaking down every little part of every civilization in these games and their benefits, but all districts receive an additional standard adjacency bonus for being adjacent to another district. That is very, very, very strong. It makes it so that you want to have all of your districts just crammed together in a tight knit section where you're just getting massive. You want your main districts to be surrounded completely by other districts. Just having blankets of districts in one section and then everything else happening in other areas. So we'll be able to get that going quite well. So this is actually looking like a very good start for Japan run. So let's slap her down here on that 2-2 tile. We will start to work our way down the river to learn what we learn. Looks like the river is going to go at least this far, and we've got some more mountains, which is great, and a beautiful 3-2 tile that'll help out our second city. So right out of the gate, we love what we see. We do debate often about scout versus builder. A lot of times we base it on how many turns it's going to take to grow. Warrior's going to fit in real nice here on 7 turns. And also on island plates, there's typically a lot less land to discover. You're not like you're taking off across a giant continent or even and bigger a giant Pangea. Where you're going to just be exploring. With a couple of warriors, you can explore your island typically in the first 40, 50, 60 turns and find everything you need to find, assuming you don't have anybody on your island with you, which is the hope. So going warrior on your first build is absolutely a good idea, I think. And then we'll slide right into our settler, of course. Technology. They're all going to work for us, but we talk about it all the time. If for some reason you get yourself a really early goodie hut that gives you a builder, what do you want to have as your first technology? And in this case, animal husbandry will get us a second really good tile here as a 3-1, and it will also allow us to wait. No, we need fishing boats for that. Forget it. I saw an animal and got flustered for a second. But that'll help us there, and our stones out here. So, although we could mine those for other good tiles as well, so those would also work for mining. That'd be your call, but I'm gonna grab animal husbandry first, and be happy with that. Okay, next turn, folks. Welcome and thank you very much for joining us on another edition of First 40 Turns. Wow. City number 2 is gonna be disgusting. Wow. Look at that. You put a C right there. You got a growth 3-2. There's a bunch of production out there. It sucks that the sugar wasn't there because you kind of would like to settle there and bring these tiles in a little bit closer. Well, we can discuss that as we move along, but yeah, because these tiles might get lost. You settle the sugar, you lose all that growth. But you can use this sugar as well, I suppose. You could settle the sugar and buy that tile and buy that tile and work both sides. So there'll be some options that we'll discuss. You wish you could have the YouTube channel when I was learning how to play Civ. I explain really cool. Thank you, Joanna. I try to make sure everybody knows all the ideas that go through my head as I'm playing through the game. Okay, let's pop up on a hill here and get some more vision. Ooh, first meet on Muscat. That's a whole bunch of money. And amenities from commercial hubs is a great one as well. Especially when you're on an island plate where you're typically going to be typically be on your only continent. Like, you're not typically going to have two separate continents on your plate. So you're only going to have the luxuries from one continent, and therefore having bonuses like luxuries, or amenities I should say, from your commercial hubs is a great thing to have. So we'll have Muscat there. Not to mention turn 4, and that's an extra 4 gold in our capital right out of the gate. You combine that with 3 gold on our very first tile, as well as 3 gold on this tile out here when we get to it, as well as gold from this tile out here. We are going to be rich. We're going to be rich, baby. Yeah. Okay, so that is a little troubling because it's going to take 3 turns to get back to the city, and then we'll have 2 warriors. It might be worth going back because he's clearly been alerted. He sees he's going to head back. He's not going to be very far from his barb hut, and he's going to start spawning units. It might be worth heading back with our warrior to make sure we take care of that quickly before it gets out of hand and gives us a whole bunch of trouble right out of the gate. It does slow down our scouting a little bit, but we'll keep our fingers crossed that we're on the island by ourselves and that the speed of the scouting isn't necessarily all that important, other than slowing down first meets on city-states could be an issue. But as I take a quick look here, it almost feels like you've got to settle that sugar, even though it's going to hurt the value of that tile tremendously by settling on sugar. You kind of have to do it, because if you settle here, you're kind of robbing yourself of all of these tiles out here. Where if you settle the sugar, every one of these tiles gets brought into that city. So it kind of grabs all of that, and then this city is grabbing pretty much everything out here. And really, this entire section is all, except for, I guess, that tile, and maybe if there's a tile or 2 up here. You're grabbing all of that land with 2 cities, and then it gives you the options as you move forward in the other areas. So you really kind of have to end up on that sugar, unfortunately. Okay, so we're going to move back. You can see that the scout has taken off. We're 2 turns away from our other warrior. We're going to have to go in there. We've got some really nice tiles to play defense on, so it shouldn't be too bad. 4 turns on hidden husbandry. It shouldn't be too bad as far as step to there with one and then to here with the other. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I don't know what's going on up here. I wonder if that could possibly bend around, or maybe it bends around this way. But very interesting. We'll go right into our settler, of course. We're going to want to get that second city down as soon as possible. But as I was saying, we got a lot of really good defensive tiles that we're looking at here. We've expanded there to the cocoa. More turtles. Although, it's a lot of flat land now, too, so we'll have to go figure out where this guy is. The settler, let's just make sure we're working the tiles we do want to work. It's not bad. It's giving us a ton of gold, which I do not mind. I'm considering buying a 2-2 tile though. Yeah, I think I'm gonna buy the 2-2 tile. We do have we're making obviously a lot of the money. And I just want to speed up that settler. As you can see, excuse me, the settler's coming in 10 here. If I work that tile, that settler's 1 turn sooner. That's not a lot, but it's 1 more turn faster that we're going to get that settler, thanks to buying that tile. And every turn counts this early in the game, as we've talked about many times. So let's keep moving this way. It's opening up quite nicely, but into a lot of flat land. We've got some coast down here. Hopefully this opens up into... Okay, so here comes the units that we knew were coming. This is interesting. I think I'm going to step in to fight. We're 4 turns from being able to have our bonus to... Hey, there's a nice river there. That'll be nice. We're 4 turns from being able to have our bonus to barbarian combat. But I think we got to take this, oh, keeping in mind, yes, there's a perfect example right away of why being on islands and why playing with Japan's good. +5 combat on coastal land is giving us a really nice benefit as well. So keep an eye on those benefits as well. The workers phases. Oh, this here? It's just telling you which tiles you're working, right? So if you're population 2, then you get to work 2 tiles. Once you get to population 3, you get to work 3 tiles and so on, right? So whichever ones are lit up are the ones you're using. Now you can lock them in by clicking on one. You can see a little lock there. You unclick it, right? And you can also use the buttons down here to decide which you're emphasizing. So if you want to emphasize production, right now it's not emphasizing anything. It's just saying which tiles have the most total yields, we'll work those. So these, because of the gold, are getting chosen. But I want to work a little bit of extra production, right? So this only has 1 production and this has 2. So I bought that tile. I click on the focus production button and now it's working this one. Just like that. So, and then as we get to pop 3, it'll work 3 tiles, 4, and so on. So that's why it's important to choose the right tiles to work and to work the population up as quickly as you can. Research, we'll go to mining. Okay, here comes more warriors. That could very well be a different barbarian scout. This is crazy right now. Yeah, here come all those warriors. So we're going to want to work on the coast for fighting, but we're also going to want to work strong tiles like this where we get the ideal terrain defense bonus. I think what I'm going to do is step back. Whoa, hello there. The game mechanic coming in hot. I'm going to step back here like that, actually. Whoa! OMG Snap is right, Joanna. The game mechanic's in the house. How you doing, GM? Mech Jack as well. What's going on? Good to see you guys. Thank you very much for that, GM. I was peeking in. I had a really one heck of a morning, but I did peek in for the last 5 minutes before I had to start streaming, and saw you working that religion like a boss. Love me some religion games. Let me see if I can't shout out here. Mechanic. Boom. Done. Colonel Musto, hello there, buddy. It's good to see you, Ben. The troll is strong today. Godspeed. All right, back to the first 40 turns. Thanks for being here, guys. It's good to see you. Let's click next turn. Again, we want to focus on being on the coastal tiles for our fights as much as we can, because it does give us our actually gonna go. I should have stood there actually. Oh well. Because we do get that +5 bonus. I wish I was on ideal terrain though, I can tell you that much. Doc Seuss, MD. Dr. Seuss. Welcome. Thank you very much for that. I'm glad you found us. And I'm glad that you're enjoying. Anyone who GM recommends is good enough for me. I like that. That's good. Look at them all. Carebrick as well. And Noun 12. Great to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Joanne is my #1 endorser, so it's just a flood of follows. Thank you very much to you guys for the follows. I'm glad that you found us through GM, of course, and thank you to GM again for bringing some folks over to say hello to us. We are having barbarian issues here in the first 40 turns. I trust you, random stranger on the internet. I trust you, truly I do. This guy is in trouble. Oof. This sucks. This sucks, man. I don't think I survived that. I might switch these guys around, though, because this guy's more injured. I have a better chance of defeating this guy than I do that guy. I'm 1 turn from getting my +5 boost. Good, you're a good stranger. I maybe should have fallen back more, but this may have been poorly executed, guys. So I'm gonna go like this and attack this guy. Problem is that this guy got attacked twice, maybe. I'm gonna lose that unit, I think. You know what I could do? I can actually win this battle now, and then I can't get hit. Yeah, I'm gonna win this battle, and then I can't get hit next turn. I'll take the promotion. We're good to go. We're good to go. Woo! Ew. Next turner. Do-do-do-do. There we go. Promotions all around. Change policies. Let's get that combat on there. And as you know, we always like to go with our God King, because Pantheon is OP, baby. Let's take our promotion there. And let's take our promotion there. And this guy is screwed. And then we're going to need to fall back, because there was a second scout, which I think may have come from here. Truly. The other thing I wanted to check is, I think that might be a lake. And I because of these barbarians, I kind of got distracted and wasn't looking at our lenses. But let's take a look here. I think it is a lake. So that's good, actually. That's going to give us some fresh water over here. Plus we have a river. We have a fair amount of space right now. We got a lot of exploring to do as well. You like religious games? Oh, yeah. Yeah, land grab is nice, but I rarely take it, to be honest with you. I almost always take either Goddess of the Harvest or... Goddess of the Harvest is my #1 by far. And then I'll also go with Faith from Appeal. My fallback is usually Divine Spark. So we'll push through here, of course, to our colonization card. I think I'm gonna have this guy stay here and heal. I'm going to have this guy come back to the city and heal. This guy, when he's full health, I'm going to have him move on to try and take out that barb hut. I feel like something else is afoot back this way. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. A barb hut just sprung up right there. That is not cool. We're trying to get to that sugar. Cool indeed, buddy. Thanks for being here, by the way. Grab a slinger. Just because we're having a lot of issues with barbs and stuff, and things are going on that are crazy, I'm gonna go with the military unit. Oftentimes I would go either builder or monument here, but I'm gonna grab a slinger real quick. It might help us get our boost to archery with all these barbs around. And then it'll also keep us a little bit safer. Especially on island plates, it's kind of frustrating to do this, because on island plates you tend to be like, hey, we got our own land, let's pump out settlers and play SimCity a little bit. But it just turns out in this case we're just going to have to be a little bit more safe with our defense. So that's where we are. Because you don't have any money, you'll make me a gift via Photoshop. That's very generous of you.
Who deserves more credit than the...
Just coming and hanging out with the great people of this channel is all the thanks I need. But if you want to make me a gift too, hey, that sounds pretty cool too. Research, technology, let's grab our pottery. Once we get a builder, we can start getting our boosts, and we can get irrigation. So we discussed earlier, and I think I'm sold on settling on the sugar. I hate to waste all that food, but we've got lots of food around. Obviously a 3-2 tile here and a 5 tile there. We're not losing too much. And if we were to settle here, or even here, you know, this would kind of be like to be the settle if you could. If all of these really nice tiles back in here were like a little bit closer, then this would be the settle by far. But you kind of want to make sure you settle to grab all of those tiles along that edge. If you settle here, those tiles are kind of lost. Unless you were to put another city over there and kind of cram it in, which I guess you could too. That'd be another option, is to put a city on the coast here and kind of cram those in like that. Not impossible that you might want to put a city up in here somewhere and just have the amazing adjacencies that you could get. My thought is that I may try to squeeze a city down in here to help out with those adjacencies. Caveman 123, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. And you're welcome. Okay, so let's click next turn. Yeah, we're gonna plop down here. We still get the 4, which is solid. We're only losing the 1. We lose the marsh, is all. Which is nice. And it's an immediately. I mean, the one thing too is like I don't. Losing the plantation, also you lose the gold once you work it, so you know you're losing a food and some gold, which can kind of suck, but it is what it is. And we're of course going to buy a tile here, and we are going to buy. This is tricky. You buy that. I mean, you're already going to grow fast with the 4 city center. I'm thinking about buying the 3-2, which will give us the production that we need to help get that monument going as soon as possible. And this city's going to grow so fast. We've got a 4 city center, a 4 food city center, I should say. We've got the 3 rice here that we'll get to eventually. We've got all these tiles are all 2 food minimum, so it's crazy. I'm going to go ahead and grab the 3-2 here. Our growth will be phenomenal. and of course we'll get the 2 production as well. So growth in 3. We'll be working so many tiles so fast, it's going to blow your mind. Just like that. And thankfully we're making a lot of money off of these tiles down here as well. And we've got the first city on the Muscat, the first meet on Muscat. Right, here comes some units. That's not going to be the greatest because he's going to hit us and he's going to hit us. But we should be able to win that overall. Looks like probably a settle on one of these 2 tiles would be good. And then we'd be able to get a city on there maybe. Gotta get some exploring done so we can see this island by the time we get into these first 40 turns here. Let's go ahead and get the first hit on the slinger. Like that. There's that. I'm going to have the slinger step up here and just make sure we know what's going on here before I move on. And I'm going to have the warrior go this way to start working on that. And then production wise, I think we are going to swing to the builder. Oh, you know what? No, it's too much of a delay already with the slinger. I want to get the monument going. I hate being so far behind in the culture tree, and we're just working those civics so slowly right now. It's just painful. So let's grab the slinger, or after the slinger, let's grab the monument now, and then we'll just have to be delayed on the builder. We could potentially buy the builder as well. That's another option. You could actually switch over. We've been working the 2-2. We could discuss the possibility. What's the difference? 1 turn on the monument. Maybe work this instead and keep working the gold. It's basically 5 turns till growth. So that's 15 extra gold in exchange for 5 production. And then we'll be able to work that tile anyway. So that extra gold might make it so we can just go ahead and buy that builder anyway. So I could buy the monument. You're right. I could wait and buy the monument, but yeah, I think buy just the same. I could buy the builder. What am I doing? Here we go. You could buy the monument at 240, or you could buy the builder at 200. Either one of them works. We're 2 turns from being able to buy the builder, especially now that we'll be working that extra gold. So I think probably buying the builder is the way I'm going to go on that one. But either idea would be good. Either idea would be good. You just have to wait a little bit longer until you add the money for the monument. Let's go ahead and grab next turn. That was very interesting. That was very, very interesting. Oh. We're not alone. That's why that happened. Kenshu, thank you very much for the follow. I'm glad you found us. I'm glad you're enjoying. Appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Other than that, leave your shoes at the door. Make yourself known. I was wondering why he would have done that, but that's why. Right there. We're not alone. We're going to want to push forward and grab a city here as soon as we possibly can. Even this is looking less likely. We could possibly get a city and a city. Like squeeze them in real tight. Maybe a city out here with all these fish. That'd be a +5 harbor right there if you put a city there. And then maybe a city here on that tile. This is again just pure speculation early on, but because you're on island plates, you often have to squeeze your cities in tight. We don't mind that as Japan because we can get our although the jade's going to be in the way of some really great adjacencies, but we can figure out a way to get our adjacencies in off to the side here with those jade in the way. But scooping up this land would be a good idea for sure, and then hopefully there'll be some land opening up here, and who knows what that could be up there. Maybe it's nothing. But we're about to meet somebody on our island, guys. Our island. There's that scout. Looks like there's a bit more land opening up here. There might actually be room for a city up there as well. Oh, it's India. Or India. It's... I knew it was India. It's Gandhi. And that is not their capital. So that's actually good news that it's not their capital, because if it was their capital, although it's turn 24, but if it was their capital and they still had a settler to throw down, they might have been moving them this way. Not impossible that we could try and work this guy. If he's aggro because we killed his home, then we'll get the settler kill. Or excuse me, the slinger kill. Settler kill, that'd be something else. Yeah, I sure am, bud. Right there. Just trying to think here. Let's got a river there as well. Not at all. Okay. We're going to get some exploring. We get a river there, or a city there. It also would, you know, depending on the size of this lake, it might be tough to get 2 cities on the lake, so we have to decide what we like more. So those are just preliminary ideas. Certainly with our your delegation is most welcome. I forgot to say my delegation. All this focus. Let's just see what he's looking at here. So he's -2. So look, if we send him the delegation as well, he only had a -2 on the first impression, so we're actually in the positives. Hopefully we can make friends with him, and he'll be happy. And so there his land is there. Maybe not a bad idea to just float around in this area and see if he pops a settler out into open land for that. Oh, and there's a cultural city-state down here we did not get a first meet on. Oof. So there is the penalty. Manjodaro's nice, too. Particularly when you're on an island and you're going to have some cities on the coast. That's going to give you full housing on coastal cities and stuff like that. So that's a really nice one there. The penalty for moving back, because I had the warrior here, and I decided to move back. If I'd have headed south, I may have gotten the first meet on them. And that would have been 2 culture a while back. But I felt like that barb hut was definitely going to spring on us, and we went down there. We were able to have 2 units and save them, so didn't turn out too badly at all. Excuse me. Please don't move away. I want to get that kill.
I thought clay must.
Okay, so we kind of have them trapped. Not much of a city out here with all that desert, but there's some decent tiles. And, you might not be, oh, and the barb hut's cleared now, thanks. Some more mountains. Let's see where this lake goes. Right about now, you're kind of thinking maybe not a bad idea to consider some war. It's hard to say. Like, we're kind of blocked by a couple of city-states here, and they're good city-states, not ones we're going to want to take out. But they're kind of blocking our progress this way, and of course we have water that way and that way, and he's in the way this way. So it kind of gets to the point where you're thinking about the idea of maybe taking some aggravation out on him. You'd want to go super fast against India because they do have the Veru unit, so you'd want to, like, you know, kick it into gear before they grab that elephant and they can own you. But you can see this is probably his 3 cities as of right now. Very good chance you might want to settle in this direction, which would really hurt. So certainly having war in the back of your mind at this point in the game is absolutely a good idea. Yeah, here comes the settler. And he's not. So I'm going to see if I can just kind of block him a little bit. He, he's not currently. Oh, yeah. So some turtles out here. Lot of fishing boats. Like, you could potentially go with production from fishing boats, particularly because it would help a city out here very much. It'd help your capital a little bit. A city here would get a ton of help, so very much a possibility. finally a goodie hut for us. We'll go check that out. And we've got horses here, and we'll be able to check out what that lake's doing and what kind of space we've got here to work with. Next turn, we can kill him no matter where he goes. It's fantastic. There's our archery boost. Like that. Okay, so that lake is not particularly big. 1, 2, 3. The horses are kind of in the way of a settlement there. You could also settle that hill instead of there in order to get a tight bit. You know, remembering that it's always kind of a decent idea. You know, I almost don't mind this as a settle. You have 2-2 city center, 2-2 tile to work, some hills. You got the turtles, and it would allow you to actually put some cities. Like if you're going to do a really massive conglomerate of districts in here, then it would allow a city here would actually be able to get a couple of their own districts, maybe mixed in and around that same kind of conglomerate of tiles, and then you'd have your three-way city districting, and then you could go here and here, which would help out each other on districts. Of course, these guys got in the way of being able to do a three-way over this way, and then you'd have to just figure out what you're doing out here. Might be some aqueduct cities coming in as well. Lots of different possibilities, and I think just for the fun, as we move along here, I may see if we can't find the time. Oh, he's moving in there. That guy didn't move, so I'm kind of stuck now. He's gonna get around me. I try and keep him from getting to here, but I think he's going to. Oh, I might be able to get there first, because that's the next place he's going to want to settle for sure. So let's take a quick look. What's his military strength? 119 is not big. Not big at all. He's definitely not built any units yet. This is where I'm starting to think we could start to spit out some units. We can make a move for a Gogi. Buy the builder to get the boost. We'll improve 3 tiles. See, when you're really thinking about it, you know, it's turn 29. He's not going to be all that far away from getting his Veru. Right now, his military is small. It's got to be like, it can't be any later than right now. It could even potentially be too late. But I'm thinking what we're going to do, I'm going to start spitting out some slingers. And we're going to get ourselves into position to get into an early aggravation here against this guy on the fight. Because if you see here, this is a lot of nice land here. We've got a couple of nice city-states to ourselves. They are cutting us off from south growth. But we have lots of places to put cities. Squeeze them in nice and tight. But like, if we could have this land here, you know, maybe take that city out, put a city there. There's a beautiful spot to put a triangle of districts in there. Take this land as well. Who knows what's down here? Like, you could have a really super piece of land here. Maybe get 12 gorgeous cities and just crush a science victory. Overlap of tiles between cities makes you unreasonably nervous. That is unreasonable. I like the idea of having spread for most civilizations. I wouldn't necessarily recommend putting all your cities 3 tiles apart in a lot of cases. I like at least 4, and I'm even comfortable with 5 a lot of times. I love having lots of space to make cities have the ability to grow nice and tall. But with that being said, with Japan and the district adjacencies that they can get going, being nice and tight allows you to really make sure you can squeeze all those districts and combine them. And I'm going to, before we get done this here, I'm going to go through and just show you an example of how you could throw your districts in here and have an unbelievably amazing amount of really great districts and adjacencies. We're going to get that happening. So we are. But not with everyone. Like with... oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Was not expecting that. Okay, so we've got some coast here. So this is kind of like... There might be room for a city down in here in between. Somewhere. It's hard to say. Very hard to say there. And I'm curious about what's happening there. We are going to come out here and work that. There's pasture. I think I'm going to work the mine, and then I want to work that for irrigation. Or I could do the quarry, actually. The quarry would be a good idea, just to get that boost done as well. I could go ahead and buy that tile, or if we don't grow out to it, that is. 5 turns, we're going to grow to that, so. Frames per second holding at a solid 73. Okay, so he's gone back, so I'm gonna just kind of, I'm just kind of delaying him from seeing if he can get pushed that way. And if he ever leaves him open, we'll definitely snag an early settler. Okay. So, I would definitely possibly rethink this. I don't know. There's a number of different options that you could talk about there. I don't think he can settle there. I think he might be considering settling somewhere in here. And I'm in his way, so that's good. I am going to work my way towards that rice. Oh, some more little pieces of land out here. I'm curious. We'll have to at some point be able to check that out. Might not happen in the first 40 turns, but okay. So he's definitely walking away now. Certainly, that's a good idea. We'll just keep an eye on him as we do. Let's work our way over here. Looks like he's definitely cut there, and then this is good. So we can start to explore that way. I don't want to make this unit go too far away. So it's kind of going to put our exploring a little bit on hold as we start to push out military units. We want to keep an eye here because we are going to get the boost. But we're going to get that tile in 2 turns, hopefully, so no need to buy it. We'll just make sure that we don't complete the research there. One more turn on that, and then we'll switch it off. So yeah, I'm going to step to here just to learn as much as I can. 1, 2, 3. So certainly a city in here somewhere. Might consider like a city on the coast into here, and then like a city where it doesn't interfere, like maybe there. No, wait, 1. It's crazy. I don't remember the last time, if ever, I've settled on a horse, but that might be the best spot. If you put a city here and a city on the horse, and then a city down along this coast somewhere, probably right there for a +5 harbor. That's probably the best for your adjacencies. I don't know. It's hard to say. You'd have to see more of the map, a little bit more of the map here before you'd know for sure, but just gonna learn some information while we track this settler. His military strength is still not big. I mean, we've only got 2 warriors and a slinger, and he's only twice as big as us, so that tells you he's not done a whole lot. Next turn, we get that tile, so you're just going to skip. Yes, thank you. He's just kicked us out.
Bronze is the mirror of the
because he's enforcing his borders, so we know that he's advancing in the civics tree quite nicely. He's looking to get Stonehenge built. There's that tile there, so we farm that, get the irrigation boost, and we're going to turn off craftsmanship because we will finish that when we get one more tile improved, which will be this stone, I do believe. We're going to keep pushing out the slingers. We're going to want to try and get to 5 as soon as we possibly can. Get them turned into archers, and then you would just wave them over there. Go to war with them. Have their units come into you. kill their units, wear them down to nothing, have your warriors come in behind and take out their cities. You got to do it fast enough that he doesn't have his Veru unit, which is the most important part. So we've got archery ready to go there in 5 turns, so we can quickly grab that. I'm gonna do irrigation so we can get our builders will be able to do our luxury improvements, and then we'll be ready to do slinger whenever we need to. We're 1 turn on our monument there. We're gonna keep moving this way, learn as much as we can. Let's get a scout going there. Warriors there. Oh, he's lost out on Stonehenge. So that was a lot of wasted productivity he just had there, which is good for us. And we are going to transition quickly. A lot of times I go right into the granary, or even a builder possibly, but again, we're pushing units out. I'm going to have this guy produce all the slingers, and I'm going to just have this guy maybe produce 1 or 2 warriors. He's going to move to there. I'm going to go ahead and buy that tile so we can get the quarry built. This city's growth, as you can see, it's absolutely massive. It actually needs some more good tiles to work. I don't want to spend all of our gold, because even though we're making lots of it, we have to keep in mind that we're going to want to have 40 gold or 45 gold per slinger in order to turn into all the archers. So that's like, you know, well over 200 gold, 225 gold that we're going to need to have minimum in order to get all of our guys where we want to see them. Like this, again, we'll just keep our warriors lurking around in the area, whether he likes it or not. There's iron. That's very nice to see. That'd be an interesting place to put a city. You would scoop up some good tiles here, but you would miss a couple down, nice ones down here. That's why I kind of like to settle here, in order to scoop up as many good tiles down here as you can. So I don't know. This set, you can't settle here and settle there is the problem. So you'd have to kind of make up your mind there. To each their own, I guess. He's starting another wonder. That's fabulous for us.
Every nation lives by
You can see that he has a happy face right now. Now this kind of sucks because, so you know, in reality, if we were thinking, we actually should have waited. Oh wait, oh we got it this turn. Sorry, I was thinking that we were going to be stepping on a hill and we were going to lose that. There's a boost to Mohenjo-Daro, by the way, so that's culture. That's fabulous. That's culture in the capital, which is great. But by finishing off that... Wait a minute. What? No! You... What? Oh, it was done! That's fine. It doesn't really matter. In 1 turn, we'll be able to finish. We could turn on a Gogi, and that will speed up the production of our units. For right now... It doesn't really matter. We're still working on trying to get to our Pantheon, and of course, in case we run into Barbarians, it's always nice to have that. These units, it'd be nice to be exploring with them, but we are going to have them ready to go to Slingers. Hey, Brahms, how you doing, by the way, buddy? Sorry, I missed that. Kerbrick, you sound like a very nervous person. Yes, I have island iron out here. You're exactly right, Grandpa. And there's some here, so we've got lots of it, which is fabulous. It's good to always have that. Lurking with our warriors. We're closing in on 40 turns, ladies and gentlemen. Hanging Gardens, done. Turn 37, that's quite quick. Learning information as we move along. You guys are on alert. You guys are on alert. We finish craftsmanship. We're going to turn on a Gogi. Just like that, and the production of these units is going to get sped up dramatically. I mean, the government plaza is really nice to get, but it doesn't really matter. In either case, we're going to get both these very quickly, but and we're not going to need the settler card immediately either, so it doesn't really matter which order we do these in. Normally, I would be pushing to that settler card for the colonization. Thank you very much. Shunderyak. Shunderyak, thank you very much for the follow, buddy. I appreciate you being here. Shoes at the door, make yourself at home. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. We're not going to need the settler card right away because we are producing units and stuff. So nothing that's going to happen in the next 8 turns is probably going to be impacted by either of these. But it's nice to have them as a look. So we'll do early empire first, just because. Units. We're just taking a look around, keeping an eye open. There's that settler lost. He probably doesn't have any room to settle out back, so he's wanting to know what to do next. Hopefully he doesn't step to there. Probably should have stepped on that tile, but anyway. Yeah, that's exactly what he did. And we can't... Oh no, we've put ourselves in a bad position. Because he could actually get away, and yeah. That might be one more city that we have to take over. Slingers, we're putting out 2-turn slingers now, which is fabulous. So we are probably ready for... Once we finish irrigation, we can go right to archery. We'll finish archery just in time to have 5 slingers, turn them into archers, and then wave them across the lands. Hopefully with at least 2 more warriors. Maybe we'll grab a 5th warrior out of the capital. That'd be 5 warriors, 5 slingers. Should be plenty when used properly. Oh man, we are... Now they've got archers now too, unfortunately. That was probably inevitable that this late into it that we'd have to deal with their archers, but they won't have nearly as many as us, so that's the most important thing. We're at turn 39. We're gonna grab our Pantheon, and we've got Goddess of the Harvest. That's where we like to go for sure. God of the Forge would be cool if we'd have gotten it earlier and could have sped up the production of our units that we were doing, but at this point it's not worth it anymore. Other possibilities, if you're going for Culture Winds, Divine Spark's pretty nice. There's some bananas, there's some sugar, so that wouldn't be bad for some early culture boost as well. That would be something to consider, oral tradition. But Goddess of the Harvest to me is, you've heard me say it many times, it's OP. And when something's OP and you got a chance to grab it, it'd be pretty crazy not to. Boom, like that. We're gonna go straight into archery and put this guy on alert and go next turn. What's the Americans doing? Where the heck are they at? He's going to settle down right there. So, that's very interesting. Another slinger puts us to 5. That warrior's almost done. That's 40 turns. I don't know where the Americans are. Are they off? They must be off, like, on some of this. Somewhere over here. They've just seen our land, maybe. Maybe they've got some stuff here. I don't know where else they could be. As long as we're not in our continent, we're okay. That's going to be it for 40 turns. Always a good idea to send delegations, but we are strapped for gold if we're going to do all those upgrades. I'm going to go ahead and say, if you're doing a science victory, which I would suggest in the situation with Japan with all these adjacencies and stuff, I think it's a good fit. Not worrying about spending that gold on them. Now, before we move away from this, I did mention to somebody in chat that I was going to take a quick look at adjacencies for districts, and I figured why not throw it at the end of this video. It's going to make this video long. I apologize. I'm trying to keep them under an hour. Let me do it real quick. My very first thought is you smack the government square right in the middle. Just like that. And then you can put your commercial hubs anywhere you want along the rivers, like that. And like all that. And then you can put your campuses. If you're pushing for, see, it's kind of tough. There's only, if you put the government square here, there's only one spot adjacent to. Although you could do this. There's 2 jungles here, so that's an adjacency for the campus. Put the other one here, which would be great. Then you could put. If you're going for science, the most important, you need industrial zones as well. There's a couple mines there, so you can put an industrial zone there and take the extra adjacencies. You'd also want to consider, like, if I was having a really extensive discussion about this, you'd also want to consider the possibility of this being your main city for your spaceport. There's some mines around. You might not have any better options. Although this city would be pretty good too. There's a fair amount of hills back in here, so you could debate that. But if you were, for instance, you could potentially put the industrial zone here. It's a +3. Like that as a possibility. You wouldn't worry about putting it on that. It's a +3, and you could put your eventually you could put Ruhr Valley there, which would mean a theater square here would get a boost from it eventually. That theater square would get all kinds of boosts off here as well, and of course a theater square right there. Theater squares, because culture, of course, is extremely important in science victory as well. Of course, you need to get to democracy and push through to all of the important democracy, as well as all the government cards that would make for a strong victory. But if you had a city out here as well, like I mentioned, very quickly, another campus there, and you could start to compound the locations of your districts. Again, every single one of these adjacencies is equal to 1 and not a half, right? So this campus here gets 1 from that, but it also gets 2, 3, 4, and then 5 because this is a district, and 6 because it's the government district. That's a +6 campus right there. This commercial hub, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7 because it's on the river. Oops. The exact same for this commercial hub. It's also a 7. This theater square, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And my thought would be in a city with all these chops that you can see here, Forbidden City maybe, which is a fairly early wonder you could grab, or even Apadana or something like that if you wanted to go super early on it, or the Great Library if you wanted to move around your campus a little bit. But both of these theater squares will get an extra +2 bonus each for being next to this wonder. And with the stone and all these trees to chop down, you would easily get at least 1 wonder in this city, which you could throw right there. I would suggest Forbidden City to help boost that. And again, you just keep compounding all of this. This city, that's their campus. You might want to throw a harbor in this city, so you could put a harbor right there if you wanted. And then maybe, depends, if you're really looking for money, there's your commercial hub. That's another +2 there. 3, 4, 5, or you could put it there actually too. The industrial zone, if you're going to put one in here, not a lot of big options. Probably there would be a +3, so that would be out by its own. But now, mind you, this is you would probably not do both of these until your 5th district, and this city's probably not going to grow that big, so let's not even talk about that. But just as an example, I'm just trying to think. No, that's fine. I was going to say, it doesn't really matter. The industrial zone here would be a +3, and it would also be a +3 back there. That's 3 hills. But it would also be a +3 here once all the districts were built. So you'd have to decide on that. It wouldn't really matter that much. But this just gives you an example of the advantage of putting all of these districts in a tight-knit area, because you can tack on these two. Like if this city was off to the side here and they weren't going to have a whole bunch of other adjacent districts, then these, you might only get a +2 or +1 or +2 or maybe +3 at most on either of these districts. But because it's close enough to get crammed into all this idea over here, these are immediately a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's immediately a +4 if you got another district adjacent. You might even put the commercial hub, probably just to focus on great merchants and not worry about anything else but money in a science game. I'd probably just put the commercial hub there to give extra adjacencies to these two. Now that I think about it more, don't even worry about the harbor. And then you could even throw the industrial right there for the +3, which also gives another one to the commercial hub and the campus. So this campus immediately becomes a +6. This industrial zone is only a 3, but that's still not bad. This theater square is a +4. plus, once it gets that, it is a +6. Or sorry, no, it's a +3 and then becomes a +5. My bad. This theater square is a 5, 6, 7. Once that wanders down. So all of these, this just becomes a blanket of districts. But like I said, this campus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have amazing campuses everywhere in here. Completely surrounded. You could even, in this city here, if you got the population up high enough, you could throw another district in here if you wanted to make that campus one better. But again, it's already a 6. Not bad. Put on the double adjacency, you got 12. So there you go, folks. Whew, I'm out of breath. Hopefully, I don't think that's under an hour. I think it's over an hour now. But chat wanted to see it. I thought maybe you guys would enjoy it too. The benefit of squeezing those cities together as Japan, you can see there's no room between city centers to city center to city center. It's nothing but just districts crammed together and just having massive, massive adjacencies. So make sure you use those ideas the next time you're playing as Japan. That's it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. It's been First 40 Turns. I hope you're enjoying this series. Be sure to like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment below if you got something to say. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.